Over the last decade, mental health has been rising to massive proportions, and especially in children. Perhaps more obvious to me than it is to other people is that underlying depression, we can be living with that from a small child, becomes normal to us. So it doesn't take much to tip us over the edge when we are living on those critical levels of mental health restrictions. There are great levels and spectrums to depression, anxiety, PTSD, PND, other levels of disorders around psychology, the emotional impacts that we live with. Essentially, we can be reduced to tears by the words are the weapons that we say to one another. The criticism, the anger, the rage. Within all of that, there is no love. It's the lack of love and lack of compassion that we crave. The suppression that comes from mental health is very much around the lack of support that we feel. We feel vulnerable, we feel weak, sensitive, we lose confidence and we lose self-esteem in that. And if you are in deep depression, it's very scary going out there into the world. The longer we stay out of it, the more vulnerable we become. But the sensitivities that we live with makes it very scary to interact, because what we interact with can feel very painful to us. Having lived with family members, and it was one of the things that I promised myself I would find solutions, because seeing my family members going through depression, years taken off their lives, and those people that you love that disappear before your eyes in depression and mental health. It's a grief process as you lose that person. From my point of view, there wasn't any support. Not much has changed since those times. And why, and I have pioneered new solutions for emotional and mental health to help all ages, because it affects all ages, and how we can help them to turn that around. Because while we are thinking and talking about depression, we are creating stress hormones in the physical body. We are affecting our gut system, and the body declines with depression. From my point of view, you have to deal with the whole of the person, not just the symptoms of depression and anxiety. People are fed up to the back teeth about talking about it, about the living of it with depression, anxiety, even suicide attempts, etc. I know very well from a personal professional point of view, every person, the reasons for their depression and anxiety is different. There is no black and white. They just want to get shut a bit. They are surprised when they receive a treatment of how different they feel, that they're able to sleep again, because we are working with those emotional action and reaction, the Groundhog Day living that creates decline in the physical body, helping to slow down those stress hormones being produced in the first place. And we need to change our perspective. These people need heart-centered help. They need some assistance and action that is going to help them move away from where they are instead of keeping them there, which is a lot of what our setup is now. And there is a lot that needs to be learned here. Very, very old ways of thinking when we live in a world of where this needs to move on. From my point of view, is from transference from the womb, and the depression and the anxiety that the mother felt is passed on or formulated. So the infant can be living with levels of anxiety that is not theirs. From my point of view, we need to find the core of the issue for the person to get well again. We do have new pioneering, radical and revolutionary methods to be able to help, and individuals have been turned around from having feelings of suicide to being able to feel happy once more in a very short space of time. And digitally, that we see people and they respond just as well as if they were in the room with, to allow the person and the body systems to respond in a way that it's able to, rather than creating barriers of suppression. We can help to find out what that core of the issue is, and then help them to freedom and lack of suffering. My name is Joy Wisdom, and I look forward to seeing you. Please contact if you would like to discuss further. Thank you. Namaste. Live well and be kind to one another. If we are kind to one another, there would be less depression and anxiety in the world.